Hi YouTube peeps, it's your boy back again. Oh, stupid. Anyway, this is just a quick one. I was saying in the comments the other day about my choices of how I prefer to shoot. There's a guy who I follow called Joe. He's a really good archer. He's also an ex-wrestler. He actually wrestled with Raven back in the day. I might even pin his channel. Well, I can't really pin things at the moment, but I might put his channel in the comments. And anyone who's into archery or even into wrestling, I mean, he doesn't really talk about wrestling that much. I don't, maybe it's a sore subject for him. I don't know. I know he's got injuries on his shoulder, which makes it a little bit hard for him to have heavy weight bows. So he tends to go for like the 35-pound bow. And I was just saying to him, I think it was him was talking about barebows and what people prefer, and it's kind of like throwing the rules out the window, which I kind of like. I mean, I know in like competition archery and Olympics and all that, there definitely is, but there is barebow in Olympic archery. It's not everyone uses the stabilizers and the sights and all that. I choose not to. This bow here is the one that I mainly use. It's my Samick, and as you can see here, let me turn it around to you a bit. It's got all the holes and all that, to screw in sights and all that jazz. But with me, personally, this is what I'm saying. I'm not sitting there saying, oh, you're using balances, I don't care. I don't care what other people use, what other people don't use. That's not my issue. It's not me to say what you use and what you don't. When I first started archery, I didn't even use a tab. A tab is one of these that you put round. Well, some tabs are different, or there's quite a few different kind of tabs, but this one particular, you put around your finger, and you can kind of hold it like this, so you've got a nice solid anchor there for when you pull back, and it also gives a nice release. Joe is deciding, because he's on a 35-pound, that he's actually not using any kind of finger assist. I personally think that's great, because when I first started archery, I didn't have one of these. Well, actually, to tell a lie, what did come with my bow was this like glove kind of one, and I hated it. It started to go all stretchy and just didn't feel right. So for a little while I was shooting just with my fingers, and it kind of felt nice doing that. It's the same as why I like to shoot barebow, because for me, and I say it's for me because it's just a personal choice. I'm not saying that people who use sights and all that, are bad for that. Of course not. That's stupid. But for me personally, I like to find the weight of the bow. Obviously, this one's unstrung, so I never keep my bow strung. Well, only one I do, but yeah, I like to feel the weight of my bow. I like to compensate for, say, if it's a little bit. I mean, this bow is quite. Yeah, it's got a nice balance to it, so that's cool. But it's nice to kind of have that challenge of just having a stick and a string on it, and having that challenge of finding your own way, finding your own style, finding how you like to shoot, rather than going online, watching all these people, and then saying, excuse me, I've got to put my bow down, and going online and watching all these people and, saying, I want to shoot like them, I want to replicate them, which is something I did. And I pretty much regretted doing it, because sometimes, your style's not going to fit in with someone else's style. So, I would suggest if you're starting off archery, you have to find your own style. Find the way you like to shoot. I mean, there is certain rules in archery. Form. I mean, form is, probably the biggest rule in archery is have the proper form. But I think the rest can be up to you, really. I mean, I know a lot of people go on about anchor and you should have a proper anchor and you should, but I know, see, it's a difficult one because I know, real experienced archers would definitely say, no, you've got to have a right anchor, it's got to be, and I understand that, and to a certain extent it's true. When you do archery, everything you do has to be the same. It's got to be fluid and it's got to be the same. You have muscle memory as well that creates it. So, it does help to have a certain kind of routine, as it were. My other bow, which I do have strung all the time, is this one. Now this is weird because people talk about prices about bows, and literally this bow probably costs about 30 quid. Yet it's actually one of the best bows I've had for shooting. It's just a really good bow. It's, like I say, it's really cheap. It wasn't the actual bow I ordered. I ordered a bow from Amazon and this came, and I was highly upset because it wasn't the bow that I ordered. I wish I had a picture of that bow because you'd laugh. Because you'd think, well, how did they make that mistake? But anyway, they did. I rang them up. I was pretty upset. But they let me keep the bow, which was nice, and I got my money back. I was going to chuck it, to be quite honest. But then I started shooting with it. And I was like, what, this actually isn't too bad. The only thing on this is I've got this for finger. Now, what I kind of tend to feel what happens when I use these kind of things, is that when you kind of go to let go, you roll. And it kind of, it rolls the arrow out a little bit, so it's not ideal, put it that way. You don't really want your fingers to be rolling, or you want a good clean let off. I can't dry fire my bow or else it will ruin it. But you've got to have a good clean let go, So yeah, I mean, like I say, short and sweet. We all have preferences. Not all of us are into Olympic archery. Not all of us are into hunting. We do it for either a hobby. I was going to go in for competition. I actually decided not to for a few reasons, but I'm really not going to go into that. But I just enjoy doing it at home. At the moment it's winter time, so I've actually got my target is sitting there, and I stand all the way over. I don't think you can, I can't see over here. Yeah, you're gonna have to, my door's shut, but I kind of stand right over there. I have the door open, there's a hallway. So I'm not that far away from my target, but it allows me to keep my form, and to keep practicing. And to me, that's most important, So that's pretty much it. I know it was a pretty... but I just wanted to say, I also wanted to give out a shout out to Joe. He's a great guy. Also want to give a shout out to everybody that I know on YouTube and the people I follow, especially in the e-feds, that's e-wrestling. which is done in a totally different way than what you would expect. I'd also want to wish you all a great holidays with your family or friends. I hope you all have fun, and especially think about those who have gone. I think sometimes it's a time of reflection, a time of thinking about others more than what you normally would. I always say, especially sometimes in comments, I say, look after yourselves and each other. And sometimes people make a joke about that, because I know some guy used to say that in one of his talk shows. I can't remember the name now, but anyway. But I truly do mean that. Look after yourselves, but most importantly, look after each other, because we all need a hand. We all need a shoulder. We all need someone to vent off. We all need somebody. And unfortunately, some people haven't got anybody, and that's sad. But unfortunately, that's the reality of life, So that's all I'd like to say. I just want to wish you all a very good Christmas, or whatever holidays that you celebrate. I hope you all keep well. And again, look after yourselves and look after each other. Peace out. Take care. God bless.